Hello class, welcome back. Today we are getting back at notes. We're actually taking a pause from battles, but you do need your textbook on page 532. You need your notebook, a scratched piece of paper if you have any questions for me, and you should have already written down your learning objective, but if you have not, I got some for you. So, I will be able to name issues that caused tension in the North. I will be able to name issues that caused tension in the North. Today's going to be a pretty quick notes day. I am going to ask you to do a couple of other activities independently on your own. Nice review. So today we are talking about how things are going on in the North, kind of an update on what's going on. So there's some issues that are causing a lot of tension, and we're going to dive in and see what those are. The deepening shadows in Lincoln's face reflected the huge responsibilities he carried. Besides running the war, he had to deal with the growing tensions in the North. Bum, bum, bum. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Copperheads. It's a vocab word. Copperheads were Midwesterners that sympathized with the South and opposed abolition. Now, what is abolition? Remember, it's the movement to end slavery. So those Midwesterners were people that kind of were still a part of the Union, and were against slavery and supported the South, or sympathized with the South. So, as the months rolled on and the number of dead continued to increase, a group of Northern Democrats began speaking out against the war. They called themselves Peace Democrats. Their enemies called them Copperheads, comparing them to a poisonous snake. The name stuck. Many Copperheads were Midwesterners that sympathized with the South and opposed abolition. They believed the war was not necessary and called for its end. Lincoln saw the Copperheads as a threat to support the war effort. To silence them, he suspended the right of habeas corpus. So, dun, dun, dun. What is habeas corpus? Habeas corpus is a constitutional protection against unlawful imprisonment. Ignoring this protection, Union officials jailed their enemies, including some Copperheads, without evidence or a trial. Does not sound very fair, does it? Lincoln's actions greatly angered Democrats and many Republicans. It was very, very, very controversial. A lot of people saw this as a big issue, obviously. Now, we also have the issue of drafts. In March 1863, war critics erupted when Congress approved a draft or forced military service. For $300, men were allowed to buy their way out of military service. For an unskilled laborer, however, that was nearly a year's worth of wages. Critics of the draft called the Civil War a rich man's war and a poor man's fight. In July 1863, riots broke out when African Americans were brought into New York City to replace striking Irish dock workers. The city happened to be holding a war draft at that time. The two events enraged rioters who attacked African Americans and draft offices. More than 100 people were killed. In this tense situation, the North Democrats nominated former George McClellan for president in 1864. They called for an immediate end to the war. Lincoln defeated McClellan in a popular vote, winning by about 400,000 votes out of 4 million cast. The electoral vote was not even close. Lincoln won 212 to 21. Lots of problems going on, lots of drama, okay? So we got the Copperheads, we got people who really aren't supportive of what we're doing in this war. They're kind of calling it for an end. They feel bad for the South. They just want things to go back to normal. Then you have Lincoln suspending habeas corpus, which means he can unlawfully imprison or arrest people without evidence or a trial, which is very unconstitutional. And then we have those constant drafts that are not being received well either, especially because the rich could pay out their way to having to serve, but the poor man cannot. So they're the ones risking their lives and, going in harm's way. So this is a struggle bus. Now, this is our only slide of notes today, but please hang on so I can explain to you what I want you to do for homework. So hopefully your textbook is still open. What I would like you to do is on page 533, there is a really great couple paragraphs. It starts with the blue letters, life for soldiers and civilians. I'd like you to read those paragraphs I'd like you to also read about Clara Barton on page 534, okay? Now, for homework today, since you got such short notes, I would like you to answer section 4 questions on page 534. Do 1 through 4 all, okay? So that means A, B, C, the whole bit, all of that, okay? When you have done those, I want you to email them to me so I can give you credit for all your hard work. This should be review for you of the Emancipation Proclamation, Copperheads, habeas corpus, all the things that we talked about today and we've talked about in the past. It's important to make sure we check in and know that we're remembering things and still learning things. So I look forward to your results. Thank you for working so hard and taking good notes. You rocked it. Have a great day.